What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex. In this video, this is kind of an emergency Batman video. I actually wasn't going to have one going up until tomorrow, but recent news has changed my mind. Now, originally I was going to make this video kind of centered around something else, more or less talking about how Harry Potter could affect Batman, and we will probably be making that video soon, but instead, we have some juicy stuff, really from the world of Warner Bros. This is kind of like a Warner Bros.-centric thing, but seems like at E3, and well, we're going to go through kind of what to expect here, kind of the holes in the argument, anything there is to poke at, but also discuss very fairly as well. We're going to talk about in this video. So James Ziegfeld, notorious leaker, someone who I've not always, and I've said it countless times, I've not always agreed with, but you know what? He's very well respected, and you got to give him props, and you also have to just take what he says very seriously, right? It's a very important thing to do, to kind of read through it and kind of assess for yourself whether or not you want to believe it. So let's go over a little bit of history. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe it was 2 days ago, rumor came back out that Harry Potter, the open world RPG, formerly Magic Awakened, but that became a Chinese mobile game, that game is going to be announced very soon. Now that came from I think a technical assistant, I believe, at Warner Bros. It was a job listing. It was for Avalanche Software, which is the one that's going to be making this, or the one that's been linked to it forever. And in that, it's in the job listing of that, it said that it was going to be announced very soon. Now, our friend Jason Schreier over at Kotaku, someone who I don't agree with him on a personal note, but in terms of like a gaming industry person, someone who knows basically everything out there in terms of leaks, he's the number one guy. I mean, he literally is the guy you go to. So I respect him for that, not necessarily for anything else, but somebody asked him on Twitter, do you know anything about this Harry Potter game? And he said yes. So, I mean, this is like a for sure thing. Harry Potter is coming. We're getting an announcement of Harry Potter. Now, let's go over to James Ziegfeld. So James Ziegfeld said, at Jason Schreier already said it, so whatever. Yes, Warner Bros. Is having an E3 conference this year to announce their full slate of games, including Batman and their DC game universe, Harry Potter, and more. But and I'm not going to even show it because it's that thing going around the world, and YouTube really has a problem with people saying it, so we're not going to talk about it. There's a very high chance E3 gets canceled, which I also talked about. We talked about that a few days ago. If that happens, Warner Bros. Can opt to do a pre-recorded stream, a live stream with no audience, or just nothing at all. But what I said before remains true. Batman can be announced anytime from now until E3, but it won't happen after E3. They still have a game to promote that will release in the fall. Now, again, I don't love the way he says a lot of things. He's very cryptic, literally, and this is the whole point. I think people really take what I say and twist it the wrong way. People see the video titles, they twist it. It makes me annoyed, and yet I know we have such a dedicated, hardcore base, and you guys, the ones that have stuck with me, the ones that got my back, you guys know who you are, and I absolutely love you. I really do. You guys are the absolute best, and I appreciate the heck out of you. And we know to think for ourselves. We know to think as individuals. We know all those things. A lot of people can't do that, and it really honestly does suck. So, and again, that's what I really want to talk about when it comes to this James Ziegfeld. Is it's like, okay, so basically, when I first read this, I kind of took it as he meant that Jason Schreier had already said that this was going to happen. Now, that's not true. Jason, in terms of what I have found, Jason Schreier has not come out to say this exact thing. But rereading it, I don't feel like that's what he's going at. I feel like what he means is he's already said it in regards to like Harry Potter. He knows about the Batman game. I believe people have asked him repeatedly about Batman, and he does know about it. So I think that's what he means, that Jason Schreier has already kind of spoken to some of these things, some of these game properties, so now he's gonna go. I feel like that is the way that he means it. So let's kind of analyze the rest of this. They're still having an E3 conference to announce their full slate of games, including Batman. So Warner Bros. And he doesn't say Arkham, so I guess we'll give him, if it's not Arkham, then we're gonna give him that, right? Including Batman and their DC. I'm going to keep that in. I'm not cutting that. And their DC game universe, Harry Potter, and more. So we knew that, right? We knew Warner Bros. Was going to E3. A lot of people had said, just because Warner Bros. Is going, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Well, yeah, I mean, they are the publishers of Cyberpunk 2077. That's why they went there last year. I think that was like the only game. That, and I believe Lego Star Wars, the collection, all 9 movies, they're the publishers of that too. So, they could only be going for that, if you don't want to believe I guess conspiracies. Can I say that word? I really hope I can. If you don't want to believe that kind of stuff, which at this point it's insane not to, then you could say, well, they're just going for that. But okay, so Batman, which is from Warner Bros. Montreal, their DC game universe, which to me tells me Rocksteady, and if this Superman game is happening, the Superman game. Now again, I have a problem with announcing all of these games at the same time, and we've talked about that in the past, and we'll talk about it a little bit maybe at the end of this video or in like tomorrow's or another video altogether. Harry Potter and more. More, I feel like, is Monolith. I feel like that could be the next Middle-earth game. I feel like that, and just in general, right? Cyberpunk, because that's where it would appear. And okay, now to his credit, I like the second tweet. The whole thing that's going around that, again, I'm not showing. I don't want to show the tweet because I do not want to put those letters on the screen. If you guys live under a rock, you, I guess, wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But if you don't live under a rock, you know what I'm talking about. Because of that, E3 has a high chance being canceled. Again, we've talked about it. But they can do something online, which is what I said. In fact, I believe I said that 2 days ago, that any of these companies, in fact, it's a better idea for these companies to just do it at their office. We talked about Dead by Daylight. They throw like anniversary live streams where they just get the office workers together in like their conference room or in like a lunch room, and they just live stream it for an hour, and they bring different community managers up. Remember when we talked about that a few days? I'll link it in the description. I think it's a good video because honestly, I predicted a lot of this stuff just a few days before James did it. So I really I agree with him. For once, you guys may not hear that often, but I do agree. I think that is something that can totally happen. I think it's actually a better idea than going to E3 in the first place. So I think the whole do nothing at all. I don't think that's happening. I think they will do something. I think it would just be some sort of live stream from like their office, or they would have their own kind of small convention. I mean, still like at a Warner Bros. Studio, something like that. This last part is him trying to save himself. I really, if you want to call out what it is, if you're calling out something, this is just me doing it. What I said before remains true. Batman can be announced anytime from now until E3. Again, that is very protecting. That's very protective of yourself. So, because that's a huge. You could say I've done it before, and I'm not saying. I'm not defending or attacking anything I'm doing. I'm not even going after. I'm just saying what he said here. But it's just protection, right? Because it's such a long window that you could say that you're kind of having your back for. But it won't happen after E3. Again, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then the last part again is kind of just again mysterious, just to be mysterious. They still have a game to promote that will release in the fall. I feel like because it comes right after the part that he's talking about Batman, it's supposed to refer to Batman, that is the game. But because he changes it from not being called Batman to They and a Game instead of Warner Bros. Montreal and Batman, because he changed it, I feel like, again, he's kind of patting his own back where it's like, well, if the Force, if the I don't even know what it's called, right? The Lego Star Wars game. If that comes out in the fall, that's the game he meant. That's the game that comes out in the fall, so that's the one they have to promote. You know what I mean? I get it. Because it comes right after the sentence with Batman, I feel like that's what he's referring. But he's again just being like cryptic and mysterious, and it's not all that cryptic or mysterious, but it is just a little bit. And he really doesn't need to be like that. So that, I believe, is the analysis there. Again, I really feel like he's just saying, like, Jason Schreier has talked about some of these games, so he's going to go. But here we go. I mean, this is a huge, honestly, massive thing. Now, I've said for the longest time that I can't even remember how long. I really believe Batman needs to be announced before E3. It's so important. I really feel like it has to be shown like a teaser trailer so that when you're going into this conference, and we'll talk about this again in other videos, but if you go into this Warner Bros. Thing, if it's at E3 and E3's not canceled, fine. If it is canceled and Warner Bros. Does their own thing, okay. Batman, it cannot be the first time you see all of these games. I think that is honestly a disaster. You can look at it from a really solid point of view, too. I mean, that's like the pessimistic way, right? And you could be saying, well, like, you're a very optimistic person. I mean, I'm not saying the general idea of seeing all of these games together is a bad thing. It's amazing. It's actually our dreams come to life. It's the channels. I mean, we have an audience for Rocksteady. We have an audience for Batman Arkham. We have an audience for Harry Potter. I covered Harry Potter Potter before I covered either of the other two. So it's not like I'm disappointed. Like, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have new people coming into the community, all these things. I'm very excited. But from a business perspective and from wanting these games to have basically their own moment in the spotlight, right? I think it's a really bad idea. I think, and I guess there's no other way. If you're going to do Harry Potter and Rocksteady, you have to do it at the same time there. I guess that's what they're going to do. But specifically this Batman game, I don't see how it's not the odd man out by now. You know, the Odd Ones Out YouTube channel? It's like that, but it's the odd man out. I really don't understand how it can't be. Because if you just think about it, even if there's even if there's a Superman game, I feel like because it would be so new, because it would be so different, I just look at it and say, okay, Rocksteady. If Rocksteady's making Justice League, if they're making Suicide Squad, if they're making whatever they're making, I feel like that is like immediately very, very high. This Harry Potter game, I mean, even if it's not exactly what we expected, it's going to be something that so many people are going to latch onto. And then you have Batman. Now, yes, I get it. The Batman Arkham community is enormous. Even the ones that have been around for the past several years online that have had no help whatsoever, have constantly been attacked, have divided themselves, right? We see people attacking me all the time, and yet we're all supposed to be in the same boat. We've literally divided ourselves, and we weren't the most massive to begin with, but I get it. It's a big community, okay? It's a really big community, but I just don't see how Batman gets its fair treatment when it's also revealed alongside the other two. Now, you could say, well, Batman Arkham is the game that comes out in the fall, so there'll just be more info for it, right? Maybe there'll be like a full 15-minute gameplay thing there'll be talk about. We'll get the release date, all that kind of stuff. Harry Potter could just be a trailer. Rocksteady could just be a trailer, and that's it. Yeah, I get it. And that kind of does even it out a little bit. But I just feel, even there's a trailer for those other two. It's really going to take a lot of eyes away from Batman Arkham. Now, I don't have any statistical evidence. I don't have this is going to hurt sales by 25%. I'm just saying, generally, if multiple things get announced at once, you can't possibly go after all of them. And even think about just this channel. Just one small example is okay, we do 3 videos a day. Well, if we literally do 1 on each, there's the entire day. We can't cover anything else. There's those 3. What do people want to watch? Which one goes first? You know what I mean? Like that morning, or when it gets announced, when all 3 get announced, which is the one that people want to see first? And again, it's such a small example. It's such a small thing, but then magnify it. You can't have eyes on 3 different things at the exact same time. And I get it. You kind of can, because they're games, and they're trailers, and you can just click on them and click off. I get that. But from a consumer perspective, when you're trying to really amplify hype for these things, I feel like going one at a time is the best idea. And honestly, I feel like it's because Warner Bros. Montreal has delayed the thing so many times, and it's been pushed so far. This was never supposed to happen. In fact, again, my running theory, this is just speculation, is that Rocksteady's game had been delayed a little bit too. I really feel like Warner Bros. Montreal, and we all kind of know this, right? Warner Bros. Montreal game should have been out years ago. I was going to say months. It should have, but it should have been out years ago as well, so that this would never have happened. Revealing these 3 things at the same time is a blessing, right? It really is, okay? At the end of the day, it's awesome. But at the same time, it could have been avoided, and it honestly should have been avoided. And if people don't really get what I'm saying, that's okay. It's just we just don't agree on that one specific thing, and that's okay to do, by the way. It's completely okay to not have the same opinions. People on the internet, especially in this Arkham community, don't really understand that. So guys, let me know. This is big time news. E3 seems to be the time at the latest that we are getting these things. With Batman specifically, it seems like it's still likely we get it before, which is a thing that I think should happen. But let me know anything you guys want to talk about in the comments below. We'll have more videos throughout the week kind of talking about side topics going along with this main one. So this is the most important one I feel like to watch. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit that bell icon. Thank you all so much again for watching. You guys that have been with me, you guys that are just coming on now, I don't really thank the new people, but you guys rock as well. Anybody that watches, anybody that supports these videos, you guys are the absolute best. I'm glad you found this community. I hope you guys have enjoyed this community. We're on Discord, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere, and people are gonna hate us. People hate me. I know that. People really don't like me. Totally fine. I'm in it for you guys. I'm in it to talk about my own feelings about this. That's what a YouTube channel is all about. But I want to do this for you guys. I just kind of wanted to get that out there, right? I've seen some new kind of hate from different parts of the internet. I just kind of wanted to address it in that way that, you know what? People are always going to hate on me. I'm sure it's going to get amplified when this game does get announced. Totally cool. I'll take the hits. I love having you guys. You guys are the absolute best. I hope to see you all on the next video.